How to fix low views on YouTube automation and entire algorithm reset for any channel. Now guys, this is going to be very simple. This is my biggest value bomb video I've ever posted. My exact personal strategies on how to un-F your YouTube channel and exactly how to succeed on the platform. Now again, this is just my own opinion and what's worked for me, not actual financial advice, but let's get straight into the video. Now really quick guys, if you want to go ahead and join my Discord server, it's discord.gg/1%. It's completely public and free to join. And again, it's got like 5,000 members of other like-minded people doing YouTube automation. Now, this is going to be an informative speedrun. Lock in and let me know if you prefer this style of content to my usual style. Let me know down below. Let's get straight into it. First things first, this contributes to a poor channel, a bad niche. Now, how do we know if a niche is oversaturated? Because it's probably one of the biggest questions I get in my mentorship with my clients. Well, how do I know if a niche is oversaturated? Very, very simple. Let's say, for example, you wanted to do something like sleep stories. Everybody knows this niche is insanely oversaturated, but some good examples are whether there's more than 5 channels in that same niche that are not getting views above their sub count. So for example, let's say there's a niche like One Piece lore to fall asleep to, and there's a ton of people doing it. Let's say there's maybe 20 people, and out of those 20, the average sub count is 10,000. But out of those subs, their average views are only 2,000 to 3,000. That's a very bad sign of a poor niche. Next thing would of course be channels with 100,000 subscribers plus already dominate the niche. This is the biggest thing I see people missing out on. For example, if we look up a channel like Dr. Nightmare, this guy, or Mr. Nightmare, sorry, this guy owns the scary story niche. Now, this is not to say that you can't get into scary stories. But again, it is very hard to get into the exact same niche this guy is doing because he literally owns the entire genre. And you have to do little sub niches like forest stories, camp stories, stuff like that. Now, smaller channels in the niche are failing. That's also a super good sign. Usually it's the bigger channels that perform well. But for example, if there's a channel that's a little bit smaller that just recently started, or let's say they've been going for a few months and they're posting decent content and they still haven't succeeded, that's a super clear indication that that niche is essentially dead. Now, the next thing is of course the fact that you can't outperform the competitors. So for example, let's say your competition was somebody like Mr. Nightmare. Now this guy's videos are pretty shit, but let's say that they were really, really good. And again, he already dominates the niche. Knowing you can't compete with his quality or length of his content, don't get into this niche. It's like trying to compete with Mr. Beast. If your content is worse than theirs, it simply isn't going to perform as good. And again, I understand there are exceptions to this rule, like lore channels and kind of plays on specific sub niches and just getting a percentage of the views rather than the whole amount. But again, I like to keep this in mind and just have it in the back of my head. Next thing is, of course, the niche is not monetizable. Now, there's multiple niches that aren't monetizable. For example, TikTok compilations. I have a ton of people join my Discord server and send me channels like this, like when real life gets too relatable, these TikTok compilations. And yeah, they're like an hour long and they get a shit ton of views, but just so you guys know, these aren't monetizable. Now, yes, you can monetize them if you own a CMS or you want to do some weird YouTube TOS guideline violation where you put your own music on top and then claim the video. That is technically a way of doing it, but again, these are not monetizable, so never get into a niche if you can't monetize it in at least one way or another. And again, this is different, right? Let's say you're doing a niche that's like an info product, like you're teaching people how to make money. That might not be monetizable, with ad slots, but you can monetize with sponsorships, with mentorships, with other info products. Now, the next thing is rushed niche research. So most people fail because they rush niche selection. This is one of the biggest things I see people struggle with is when they're first starting out, they've just heard about YouTube automation, they're getting into it. A lot of people will literally just in the same day, even in the same hour, find a niche and not do their due diligence or adequate research and literally just get into it straight away. Now, this is a massive mistake and you really need to be making sure, and I can say this off personal experience, I've rushed into niches before and then realized halfway through before making the first video or even uploading a few videos that this niche was worse than I actually originally thought, or it's just too hard to make the content, or there's just not enough viewers. Now, most failures in terms of YouTube automation as a whole actually come during this step, believe it or not. So this still funnels back into the original bad niche idea. Make sure the niche you're thinking of getting into does follow all this criteria and you're not literally just choosing it for the sake of getting something done. Now, this is massive and this is a massive problem I see people getting wrong. And it's actually something that I talk about a lot. So I talk about outliers very, very often. Now, for example, an outlier is a video that performed exceptionally well on your competition's channel. So for example, if we look at the Amagi, right, and we scroll through his channel, you guys can see here, if you want to find an outlier, one of them would be something like this, right? So his average video gets about 20,000 views. But if we scroll down to 2 months ago, you can see here, this video got 125,000 views. So it was an outlier, meaning meaning a video that did better than normal. Now, a lot of people do this, and I've spoken about this before. Like, people say copy outliers. Yes, copy recent outliers. Now, a lot of people will literally do this. Let's say this is my competition. They'll filter by popular and just copy the video from 5 years ago that has the most views. This is not going to work the majority of the time because, again, this outlier has already been milked. Chances are the owner of the channel has already spammed this outlier and replicated it numerous times. As you can see, most of his big videos are the life of, and that's literally what every single outlier is. So again, we can't just copy their exact outliers from years ago. We need to find new outliers, meaning videos that performed exceptionally well recently. And that's why when we're doing this, we're actually scrolling between fairly recent content to find videos that did really well. Now, another example of this would be a channel like Bound. Let's say we wanted to find an outlier on their channel. We'll look at their recent videos and see which videos absolutely popped. And as you can see, 2 weeks ago, Why It Sucks to Be Born as a Honeypot Ant. This did super well. But again, if we filter by popular, you can't just go ahead and do one from 10 months ago because chances are it won't do well. Use the latest videos instead and look for recent outliers. And again, make sure you don't kind of make the mistake where old viral topics are what you're kind of copying. So older videos that were outliers, because essentially they're going to have already been oversaturated. Now, the next thing, bad packaging, thumbnails and titles. This is the biggest mistake I see people making, whether they're doing ultra long form, whether they're even using my software produce.so to generate ultra long form channels and ultra long form videos from scratch, is they'll have the video perfect, but the thumbnail and the title are just horrible. Make sure you're using thumbnail A/B testing. Now, this is so easy. Let me give you an example right now of how effing insane this is. Now, guys, if you don't already know, I use vidIQ to make my thumbnails. It is quite literally the best AI thumbnail generator. And for limited time, guys, I'm so excited to announce this. If you use vidIQ.com/Blake, I've actually got a partnership with vidIQ, and you can get the $50 a month unlimited AI thumbnail plan for $1. I'm not joking. Go ahead and give it a go if you want to try it out. But again, let me show you how easy this really is. So let's say, for example, we wanted to copy the channel Bound. I'm going to head over to vidIQ AI thumbnail generator. And this is why I don't understand how people can actually have bad thumbnails nowadays. It is so easy to fix the problem. So find somebody in your niche that's your competitor, find an outlier video, meaning a video that did really well. I'm going to go ahead and use this one, for example. Now, heading back to vidIQ, and all I'm going to do is paste in that reference, and I'm going to say copy this exact thumbnail style, but change the bee to a queen bee and make the text eats her children. Now, this is just an example, a random video idea I just came up with, and I'm going to go ahead and press create. And we're going to do this a few times, and again, you can get this entire thing for $1 a month using my custom referral link down below. But again, this is why I don't understand people that can't get thumbnail creation right. It has never been easier, and you quite literally don't need to pay a thumbnail designer anymore. Now, while we're waiting for this, let me just say a few things. Don't use random Mr. Beast style packaging. Match the existing niche thumbnail formats. If you're copying an outlier, check what did well in terms of their thumbnail and simply replicate it. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Copy what the audience already clicks. And look at this. This is the example we gave it. Look what we managed to get. Literally a perfect one-for-one thumbnail that changed it for our character specifically and even did the text, the arrow, the exact style for us. And again, vidIQ is the best thumbnail generator. There's no reason to not use this. It's only $1. And again, you get an infinite amount of thumbnails. Now, there are a few times where channels can actually be cooked. Now, here's an example. A channel may be bad if you've got almost 0 impressions after about 10 uploads or 30 days of posting. And if the views, so AKA the view sources, let me give you an example. As you can see, this is a brand new channel that I'm working on. But as you can see, if the views are coming from channel pages specifically, or for example, search and external, and it's not actually browse or suggested, which is obviously these two right here, then it's a pretty good indication that your channel could be a little bit cooked. But again, most people simply don't give it long enough to actually try this and to actually troubleshoot the exact problem. So again, 99% of the time when people say, oh, I'm shadow banned, it's simply not true. But again, I don't want to play it down. It is physically possible. And if you do happen to have a channel that falls under this criteria and you want to give it a refresh, here's the fix. Delete all the videos, re-upload on a brand new channel. The channel itself is probably the issue and not the content. Now, how do we actually reset the algorithm? Now, this is a final step if all else doesn't work and you have to get a fresh start. First things first, move the channel to a different aged Gmail account. So if you have an older account, an older email that you've used for the last couple of years, you made it back when you were younger, move the channel to that Gmail account. You can literally go to settings, go ahead and press on brand transfer and invite that new email as the new owner. Now, do not use a brand new email. This is exactly what bot farms do, what AI farms do, and it kind of isn't a good look to YouTube. As I said, make sure you're using an aged email because it looks human and not like a bot. And it obviously helps avoid suppression tied to AI and content farms. Now, the next thing, this is the most important thing. I already briefly touched on it, but where should views actually be coming from? Now, let me give you an example of a good channel. So this is one of my channels. This one video made us $80,000. As you can see, it still gets views every single day. It's literally about 3 years old, December 2022, and it's still pulling in about 10,000 views every 48 hours. And as you can see, these are what you want to see. Suggested videos is probably one of the best. Browse features is also amazing, and YouTube search. These are the 3 organic kind of traffic sources you want to be seeing. Anything like other YouTube features is essentially just people sending the video to their friends, and direct or unknown is kind of spammy. So you want to be making sure you are targeting suggested and browse views, and you're not just getting search only or external. Now again, guys, this is a brand new style of content that I'm trying out. If you guys do enjoy, make sure you let me know down below. And if you want to join my public Discord server, again, it's discord.gg/1%. Just a super cool networking environment, and it's entirely free to join. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.